Hello, hustlers. Namaskar. If you are someone who's imagining or wondering how a strategy and management consulting landscape, how does it look like? What does the work day to day or on a weekly basis these analysts or consultant do when it comes to solving those business problems? Maybe you are a person who is in his engineering days, or maybe he's doing a higher degree, an MBA, let's say, or maybe you could be a lateral hire who's wondering how can one shift his career from the service or the product side of things to the strategy and management consulting side of world, and what are the actual business problems these companies like do on a regular basis. When we hear about the companies like McKinsey, Bain, BCG, and when we hear about the fancy stories, the travel which comes as a part of the whole problem solving package, traveling to the client side, traveling in those with the C-suite, CXOs of the world, and actually solving the on-ground business problem. It looks exciting. And if you're a person who likes problem solving, please ensure that you're subscribing to my channel, because you have come to the right place at the right time. I am Vapavrati. I am a consultant at Deloitte USI, and I have been here for more than 2.5 years. And in my experience, I have learned a lot about consulting, and I am here to support your already ambitious journey if I can add little value to it. So without further ado, let's get into it, and through my notes, I would like to share the business problems, and we can go step by step over the companies or the nature of the work they do, so that you can get the first hand knowledge as to what to look forward to. So let's take a case for a market entry strategy. There is a company, or let's say there is a let's go nationwide. There is a Japanese electric car company which is entering the Indian EV market. Now EV is something which has been on boom for the last few years. Now as a consultant, how you'll approach or what the problem solving of the MBB, let's say McKinsey, Bain, BCG, would look like is their consultants will be doing the market research and survey as to the market cap of the overall EV market, and then they'll be analyzing the consumer behavior, their pattern over the last few years when it comes to buying these EVs, what are the competitors which are already in the market, how they have performed, doing the data driven research, what is the consumer spending power from an Indian standpoint, how much investment a Japanese company or any other company which is coming into the Indian market is like how much investment they would like to do, what could be the entry strategy, pricing, or the problems that could come for a foreign company to come and start investing, whether they will get subsidies as per the Indian standards. Like there are different companies in India which might get subsidies to ensure that the different foreign companies are not getting as much market cap as the other Indian competitive market. So doing that whole research and then designing a proper strategy and plan and giving that strategy solution to the client is something which these consultants or the team of consultants at McKinsey, Bain, BCG do. And this is just one example. Now let's take another example of mergers and acquisitions. Let's say there's a company, Bain and Company, which is helping a large FMCG firm who wants to acquire a premium herbal cosmetics brand. Now, why we have taken this specific problem is when we talk about the FMCG sector. Now, this is where the thing comes in. When you are into the service line or different kind of companies, you only know the technical aspect of things and you are already only doing one kind of work. But as a consultant, let's say if you don't know about the FMCG market, what do these people do is they first research about the market on their own. They take the data driven value proposition of whatever is going in the market since last few years. In fact, they have a knowledge center team, they have a capability network team which is helping them to do that high level of research. This is not something, guys, that they come up with a plan overnight. They have to actually do a lot of research and do data driven suggestions for the client, because the client they are helping are also their industry leaders. They are the master of their work. So in order for giving them the right suggestions, a lot of due diligence when it comes to the customer strategy or the future growth on how to manage the supply chains or the things which will go into the particular herbal cosmetics case scenario here. What are the go no go decisions, what are the sustainability impact that could go right or wrong, or will the customer base grow or not? Is it like a niche market where people are preferring FMCG brand but the market is not as much growing on a rapid scale when it comes to the herbal kind of things? So these are the things which they'll structure the problem and compare it on a day to day or a weekly basis, how the problem and scenario would look like, and then we'll compare it on an year trend over the years to before like giving a data driven research to the client. Now let's take a cost optimization problem or work frame where, let's say, for a BCG consulting group, an airline company is bleeding cash and needs to cut costs. Now, as a person who is into the BCG or a team of BCG, what they'll do is they'll map out all the possibilities when it comes to the cost buckets like fuel, staffing, maintenance, routes, and based on that, they will identify inefficiencies that where the cash bleeding is happening most, so that based on that they can invest in improving that particular side of the operation so that the profitability of the company increases. Now it's a basic thing that if a company is having a such big business, it's not that they'll be bleeding cash in all the segments. There is the particular niche operational areas where they could be investing more but not getting higher returns, and there could be areas where they might be investing not as much. For example, it could be marketing, they might not be spending as much but they are still getting a good customer base. So identifying the areas which are the key strengths and key weaknesses of the company, depending upon that renegotiating with the suppliers or whatever the problem is, these consultant will come up with these strategies to suggest how to automate things, how to do those operations better, how to come up with those systematic inefficiencies to better profit the company as a whole. And then obviously on a percentage basis they'll be able to give a data driven outlook as to how year on year, if this operational inefficiency is fixed, how much their growth rate will become better, how will it look like when it comes to the year on year basis or 5 years down the line. Now also let's take a very relatable example of digital transformation. So let's say let's take an example of Deloitte. Let's say in Monitor Deloitte, a traditional bank wants to come in for a digital, like they wanted to transform into a digital first bank. Now we all know in banking a lot of records, a lot of information needs to be maintained, and it is already being maintained for a long period of time. Now a company when it comes to Deloitte Monitor, the consultants will come in, they'll first analyze the current digital maturity, the benchmarking against the fintech players which is happening, whether the amount of migration or cloud transformation or the technological digital transformation, is it feasible or not, how much cost it will take, what are the tools or the legacy tools which the company has been or the bank has been using so far, and how much of migration work will really need to happen, or how much of the, from an employee standpoint, how much work that needs to be done so that their automation also is also happening, and how much a bank wants to invest in their employees so that they are also upskilling for their let's say future job changes that might happen, because here we are talking about digital transformation, right? And once these all the work is done, analyzing that business integration work and giving them a cost estimate that this is the market value, it how much it may look like. Now again, for these companies, a very good example I would like to share here is when we talk about let's say Monitor Deloitte or the Big-4 companies, when they give a solution, these are also the companies who are doing technical consulting work. So there they can also give a proper framework as well as a cost that may be incurred in this technological transformation, so that if a company wants to hire these companies itself whom they are doing the strategy work with for the technical consulting standpoint, now you as a technical consulting team, if you are a part of that, you will help them in that strategic transformation. Let's say you are a small part of the team who is at analyst level, so you will be then involved in that particular migration, coding, system integration, development or testing team who is actually helping the client on the such large scale. But now the difference is you now know the whole business problem from a strategy point of view. All the consultants, senior consultants or the managers, they have delivered the value or the problem solution, and now as a team you are helping that client to grow and solve that business problem end to end. So this is how in the world of consulting things look like, and how people actually approach and solve those problems. Obviously I have not gone in depth properly about how the structure or problem solving would look like, but here I want to give you an overview as to how the world of strategy management consulting looks like, so that you have a proper perspective as to what you're entering in. And if you want to deep down deeper as to actually how to solve a problem, what frameworks to use, then you can actually take time out and subscribe my channel, guys, because in my consulting blueprint playlist, what I'm going to do is as we go further, I'm going to post further videos about how to get hired into these strategy and management consulting firms, what are the key skills required, what are the frameworks required, how do we actually solve those business problems if needed for a case interview.